Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Have a seat.
State whenever you're ready, you may proceed.
Judge, if I may provide the court, so at least Your Honor can have a list of the witnesses. I just printed them out, and provided them to the clerk. The state's witness for the purpose of downward departure is going to be Sergeant Santos, and should I need to lay any additional foundation, I may call someone else, but witnesses 2 through 12 are next of kin, so as the court wants to hear from them, they'll be available.
I can't see anything.
Yeah. Good afternoon, Sergeant. Can you please state your name for the record and spell it for the clerk?
Sergeant Juan Santos, first name is J-U-A-N, last name S-A-N-T-O-S.
What department do you work for?
City of Miami Police Department.
How long have you been employed by the Department of City of Miami?
14 years.
Can you walk the court a little bit through your background at the city, beginning on sort of where you started and where you're at now?
Yes, I was a patrol officer for approximately 2.5 years. I became a field training officer, which I was at that position for approximately 2 other years. After that, I been 9 years with the City of Miami Homicide Unit.
As a patrol officer, what areas were you stationed or located at?
Mostly Alapad and Little Havana.
And are those the same sort of areas as an FTO?
Yes,
So you've been in homicide since 2017. I know that the court is familiar with sort of a homicide unit, but can you just explain briefly how your team works in the City of Miami?
yes. Well, now as a supervisor, I have detectives that work under me. They get assigned the cases, and I just guide them and assist them through the investigation.
And cases are assigned on a rotational basis?
Yes, ma'am.
Over the course of your 9 years in the homicide unit, how many cases have you worked on?
Personally, 19 cases, and assisting other detectives directly over 100 cases.
Judge, in the interest of time, I mean, this is not a trial. I stipulate that he's a detective. I stipulate that he was a detective in this case.
I state.
I understand, Judge. Okay, thank you. All right, so I'd like to talk about the date of incident and the case on which you're here to testify to. At what point did you get called out to the scene, your department?
Yes, ma'am.
And what are you called out for?
It was a female that had called that she stopped her boyfriend. By the time that my arrival, the victim was already located and transported to Jackson.
You're a little soft-spoken, so
Oh,
just
okay.
ask if you could just speak up a little bit just to make sure you're heard. Okay, and around what time are you all called out?
So the initial call came out at 11:03 p.m. and I arrived at the scene shortly after.
Can I see the USB, please? Okay, so at this time, the state would seek to introduce what has been previously marked, at State's Exhibit 1A into evidence as States 1, and it will be subject to counsel's objections as to the one particular item with foundation, which I can present at a later time.
Any objection, Mr. Hanfield?
Subject to that, noted objection, no objection.
It'll be admitted in part, but for the one item that you will lay a foundation for.
Okay.
Thank you.
And state mark for ID purposes, 1A will become state exhibit 1.
You can keep it because I have everything
Okay.
here. Thank you. Okay, Detective, Sergeant, excuse me. So you all are called out at around 11 p.m.?
Yes, ma'am. The initial call, it was 11:03.
And who was the person who made that call?
The person that made that call was the defendant.
And you've had an opportunity to listen to that 911 call?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And for the record, I'm saying state's composite exhibit 1, and it's the 911 call.
Starting date Friday, December 20th, 2024, 22 hours, 59 minutes, 43 seconds.
I'm here with you. What's the other? Okay. Northwest Central Assembly, what is the address, ma'am? So I can get back to you. You're at the McDonald's, 152nd. Yes, okay, is the person there that's staffing? Is the person there that's staffing? You had the knife?
Yes, and he like wanted to me. We were playing, and he wanted to me. And it's happening.
Okay, what is the address? What is the address that you're talking about?
It's a apartment.
Okay, what's the apartment number? What is the apartment number, ma'am?
I don't know. It's my boyfriend's place.
Okay, please look at the door. Is there something, there's not a piece of mail, or look at the front of the door. Is there something on the door?
I can't eat them.
I'm getting rescue for you now. Is there someone else there with you?
City of Miami, followed by a rescue.
Rescue team, we get out on the 370 for Atlantic 6130 Northwest 6 Court, 6130 Northwest 6 Court. Oh,
I'm going to call because the court has had an opportunity to hear the entire 911 call. Sergeant, when you arrived on scene, what did you first see upon your arrival?
I responded to the third floor of the building. By the time of my arrival, the victim was already taken to Jackson, and it was just the officers securing the scene.
And who was the victim in this case?
The victim was Mr. Lollar,
And how old was he?
17.
Who was the defendant in this case?
Ms. Malik,
And how old was she?
17.
So you arrived at the 10th floor. Your role at that point was what?
Just to secure the scene until and assist the relief detectives of the incident.
Did you speak with anyone that day when you arrived?
Yes, ma'am.
Who'd you speak with?
I spoke with some of the officers there and the mother of the victim.
What was her demeanor like?
Distraught. Once I made contact with her, and she was informed of the incident. She hugged me for like 5 minutes. It was very emotional for her. So.
Sergeant, can you just tell the court about sort of what happened in this case, the circumstances around the stabbing?
Yes, ma'am. Later, we found out that the defendant arrived at the building.
Starting date Friday.
We see that's the first arrival. We see the videos from the entrance of the building. The victim comes down, opens the door for her. At some point, they were play. He was opening and closing the door.
So let's watch the record on playing this case exhibit. One, the first surveillance footage. And who is that person that's approaching right here?
That
In the
is
same
the-
box.
that-
Rodriguez,
defend-
can you move it a little, because I have,
Sorry. Oh, yeah,
it's okay. All right, perfect, sorry.
Who's this person here?
That's the defendant.
And do you know who this person is here?
Yes, that was identified later as Ms. Hunter.
That was the defendant's friend?
Yes.
I'm gonna let it play while you talk about the beginning of the scene, because it needs to be flash forward. At some point, you indicated that the victim comes down and lets her into the building.
Yes, ma'am.
And he's, and is her friend there with her when he lets her in?
She was around that time, yes.
Okay, and then at some point, does the friend leave?
Yes,
And the defendant remains on scene?
correct.
Okay. I know your Honor's had an opportunity to see this particular video, so for the sake of time, this is, I'll proceed with the next one. All right, so you indicated that the victim then lets her into the building. What happens next?
So then they started playing around, chasing around the stairway, the staircases, and that's one of the staircases that we were able to retrieve videos of the actual them running around.
Now, does you're sort of in preparing for today, you were able to review the entire police file, including the surveillance footage, body on camera, police reports, the medical examiner report, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you're familiar with the building. Were there surveillance cameras on sort of every corner in the building, or were there some blind spots?
No, ma'am. There were some blind spots, and there were some areas that did not have any cameras.
Okay, this is one of the areas that obviously did have cameras, and at this time, around what time is it here?
It's 10:41 p.m.
Okay. So who's the person in the hoodie?
The victim,
And who's the person in the tank top?
the defendant.
All right. So, at any point as you watched this particular footage, was there anything about this footage that led you to believe that the defendant was at any point afraid of the victim?
No, ma'am.
Did she appear to be in any type of distress?
No, ma'am.
And in fact, she at some point is like smiling and joking with him.
Yes, ma'am.
I've played the third surveillance footage on State's Exhibit 1. Sergeant, can you tell the judge what that footage is about?
Yes, ma'am. That camera was right over the entrance to the garage parking door. The garage actual doors to the left of that, the camera was above it.
And so we've talked about kind of blind spots. Is there any camera that captures anything that's to the sort of left on this side?
No, there's no cameras in between that pillar or the wall.
And so there's obviously another camera that's back here that captures the area.
Okay, Mr. Rodriguez.
There's obviously a camera that's back here that captures the footage from this side.
Correct.
What is this on the floor here?
That is the defendant's purse.
Okay. And to the extent that you could see, what is here?
Yeah, that's the first ball of trail that we were able to find with the victim's blood.
This next video does have sound, so to the extent that anybody needs to exit. All right, Sergeant, this video is the angle that's farther back.
Correct.
Okay, have you had an opportunity to view this video?
Yes.
Was there anything that struck you about this particular video? Can you hear anything?
Yes, ma'am.
And what was it that you could hear?
You could hear the victim saying at some point, Jahara don't.
Jahara, don't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or Jahara stop.
Okay. For the record, the state's playing the fourth surveillance footage on State's Exhibit 1. to walk the court through just a couple photos of the crime scene in particular. We had seen this in the surveillance footage. Can you just tell the court what this photo is of?
That's where the victim run out of the pillar. He stops us for a minute. That's the first time we see the blood coming out, and then he runs back towards the pillar.
And when you say back, does he run in the direction behind this car?
In between the car and the pillar.
Oh.
And that's where we found the blood trail.
The blood trail that way. Okay. Can you tell the court, I know it's a little hard to see, but what is under marker number 1?
The knife,
Okay. And what's at marker 2?
the phone.
And whose phone is that?
I believe it was the victim's phone.
And this is just the path towards the pillar, and that's obviously blood. Okay, we talked about the pillar, so there's sort of no door here. Is this has access all around?
Yes, the pillar is a big pillar, but it does have access all around the parking.
Okay. I'd like to talk a little bit about the injury to the victim's chest. Did you have an opportunity to review the medical examiner's report?
I did.
What did you learn in particular about the wound?
The medical examiner described the wound to be 12 to 6, which means that's the angle that they used to describe the positioning. The 12 o'clock was the blunt part of it, meaning that the part that's not sharp. The 6 o'clock was the sharp one, so it was straight in the chest, a little bit to the left, and it was 10.1 centimeters in depth, which translates to 3.976 of the whole blade.
Do you know how long the blade of itself was?
4 inches.
4 inches. Okay. So so the wound was essentially 4 inches almost in depth.
Objection, let the witnesses testify.
Overruled.
Can you describe everything that the knife went through and how deep it went into the victim's chest?
Yes, ma'am. As you can see in the video before, the victim had a hoodie, and obviously went through the hoodie, the shirt, and according to the medical examiners, the soft tissue, and it went into the third rib on the left side, approximately 1 inch in depth, and hit the heart.
Okay. So when we're talking about the way that the knife, we talked about 12 and 6, just so the court can kind of have a visual. The knife is essentially right side up, right? Like the manner in which you would use a knife.
Yes, ma'am. With the sharp on the bottom and the blunt on the top.
And the blunt on the top.
12 to 6,
Okay.
as described per the medical examiners.
I believe, was the knife marked? No. We could just mark it. If you could hand it to the clerk so she can mark it. I'm just going to show you the next photo, which is a photograph of the victim's injury. Can you just describe for the court where the injury is?
Yes, it's on a little bit to the left side of the chest.
Oh, and that's right here.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to play the following camera from State's Exhibit 1, and it's following camera 1.
You guys are arguing?
Yes, and when we were arguing, we was just like, they fighting and stuff, and that's when he was making me mad, and that's when I had to knock my head. And then he ended up running to it, but I'm not, because he already knew I had it, he was trying to get it from me, but he ended up running to it.
All right. You have a gun?
No, I don't know.
You know your social? Listen,
My last
you know your last four? What? So that's, I'm trying to figure out what's going on.
No, like, I'm cheating, wake up.
No, they're with him. Okay? Just relax.
Okay, if he alive, then what?
Huh?
Where we go from there?
We got things on hospital.
Okay, and then what?
And then we just go from there. When he wakes up, we talk to him and everything.
He's like,
We gotta wait. You're 17 also? Yeah, what are you
you
doing?
know, like, he just, I don't even know
Okay.
Okay, Sergeant, I'm gonna come back to sort of the wound, because I'd like to talk about it in conjunction with the defendant's statements. At some point on this night, was the defendant interviewed by police?
Yes,
And was she Mirandized?
yes,
And if I showed you that Miranda form, would you recognize it? Would you recognize it?
yes, ma'am.
I'm approaching the witness with what has been marked as State's Exhibit 1C for identification purposes. Sergeant Santos, do you recognize that?
Yes,
And is that the Miranda waiver form that was provided to the defendant?
yes,
And did she sign that?
yes.
And at this time, the state would seek to introduce what has been previously marked as State's Exhibit 1C as State's Exhibit 2.
Any objection?
No objection.
State mark for ID purposes, 1C will become State Exhibit number 2.
Okay, so she was Mirandized and she chose to speak to police. Did she tell you why she brought a knife that day with her?
Yes, she said that she was gonna be riding in Ubers and she couldn't find her pepper spray and that's why she grabbed the knife.
Okay. So it was essentially for protection?
Yes,
And did she tell you that it was needed for protection?
yes,
Okay. And so, does she tell you then where the knife was when she first arrived to the apartment complex?
on her purse.
In her purse? Does she tell you why she pulls out the knife?
Separate from the statement that she gave in the camera, to what she said that she was gonna call her friend Tate, and the phone was inside the purse together with the knife, and she grabbed both at the same time.
Okay, so we're gonna come back to, it sounds like you're saying that her statement changes from what she tells police initially.
Leading,
Overall.
So, can you just repeat, because I want to make sure I caught it, why exactly she tells you after she's Mirandized that she pulls out the knife? Because she was also grabbing her phone?
Yes,
Did she tell you how she grabbed the knife?
yes.
And how was that?
Uh,
I'll let you borrow my pen. You get my pen you can use. Sort of my pen is a demonstrative. You need a phone?
Yeah,
Your phone.
please, at that point.
So did she demonstrate for you how she said she was holding the knife?
She did.
And how was she? Can you show for the court?
Basically, she ended up with the knife like this.
Okay, so that's what she tells you she ends up. And did she tell you how high she ended up holding up the knife?
Just like this.
Like this. Okay, so I'm going to ask if you could just do me a favor. Could you please stand up? That's okay with the judge. So she demonstrated for you how she was holding the knife. How high up was she holding it?
She did just like this.
Right here. Okay. And I'm gonna take this from you and ask that you stay there because we're gonna reenact it a bit. Where exactly is the stab wound of the victim? Excuse me.
Right here.
It's up higher in his chest. Okay. And so
A little bit towards the left.
the victim is how tall? Do you recall?
5'10",
5'10". Okay. And the defendant was how tall?
5'6", 5'7",
Okay. So they're about 3 inches apart. How tall are you?
6'2".
Okay, I'm 5'6", I'm probably wearing 2 inches of heels, so that makes us maybe proportionate to them. So she says she's, correct me if I'm doing this right,
Like that, yes.
she's holding it just like this. And does she tell you she's doing this, or does she tell you she has it here?
Here.
Okay, and then what does she tell you happens to the victim while she's holding the knife?
There was something with the door. The victim opened the door and just bumped into it.
And he bumps into her. Okay, so presuming that that's the case, does she say that the knife is here? And he
Yes.
bumps into her right here? Okay, is that consistent with the fact that the stab wound is actually up here?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so it would have had to have been up here?
Yes.
Upright, right? Okay, thank you. And that's to say if she was holding onto her phone? Okay. So at some point, you've obviously stated that you've reviewed everything. Does her statement to police change?
Yes, from the first time that I reviewed the video, it definitely changed.
Where does she tell police the knife is when she first talks to them?
In this video with the body-worn camera, she says that the knife was already in her right hand, and she demonstrated as a low grab.
So you say right hand, and where does she demonstrate that it is?
And she said it's
Down here? Okay. Does she tell police at some point a different reason why she pulls out the knife?
I'm sorry?
Does she ever tell police earlier that there's a different reason why she pulls out the knife?
The two versions were that one, that they were play fighting, and then the other one to us, that when she was gonna call her friend, she grabbed the phone by mistake with the knife.
At some point, does she tell police that she gets mad at him?
Yes.
Did she ever mention at any point that she was, during her interview with you, that she was afraid of the victim?
No.
That she felt that her life was in danger
No.
when she was with the victim? Did she ever mention that she was previously battered by the victim?
No.
Did she ever mention previously that he had ever been physical with her?
No.
Okay. So I'd just like to play for the court. I want to make sure the board has an understanding of the angle from where everything happened. So we can see obviously with first, oh, excuse me. Officer, you can see, I don't know, Your Honor can see.
Right, but Mr. Hankel
Oh.
and Mr. Mendini needs to
Sorry.
be able to see
Let me
that.
just fix this setting. Just give me a court control, please. I'll come back, sir. I'll come back, sir. Sorry about that, Judge. So this is the body of camera when first responders arrive. They're going through the inside of the apartment complex. To your knowledge, were there cameras around there?
Yes.
Okay. And then, are there cameras? This is the hallway before they exit into the parking lot. And when you said the door that she was referring to, was this the door that she was talking about during her statement?
No, it was this one.
The one in the side? Was there any CCTV footage that showed her version of the events, essentially?
No.
So we've talked, and if I could ask, you just show defense. Showing defense counsel with the previously marked as States Exhibit 1B. Do you have any objections, Jamie?
No,
At this time, the state would seek to introduce what has been previously marked as States Exhibit 1B as States Exhibit 3.
Thing more for ID purposes, 1B becomes state exhibit number 3.
Thank you. And Sergeant, do you have scissors by any chance? Do they- You could just provide him with scissors. Can you tell the court while you're sort of opening that, you've obviously had a chance to view this, that's a photograph of the knife?
Yes.
If you could just take a moment to just open it up and show it to the court. If you could just show it up for the court, please. Right. And now she told you all that the way that she was holding that in her hand was essentially like this. All right, so I'd like to take a moment to talk about some of the, well, I'd like to show the court. You've had an opportunity to review the photos from the ME, and we've talked about the injury to the chest. This is, what is this photo depicting?
That's the victim laying on the gurney.
And here's the wound?
Yes, ma'am.
And this is just a closer image of the wound. So when you're saying that it was blunt at the top, sharp at the bottom, this is what sort of the ME was describing.
Yes, basically the mean describe this. You see the cut right there, that's the sharp part, and this is the blunt part.
So the knife went directly into the chest in sort of the right side, the right way the knife was to be held.
Yes, ma'am.
So, I'd like to talk a little bit about the interviews of some of the witnesses, where there are civilian witnesses that your department interviewed as a part of this investigation. Okay, and is that, I believe it's Montavia Hunter, who's known as Tay-Tay, Cavani Williams, I believe it's AJ, and then it's Ladero Williams?
Yes.
Okay. Did any of them talk to you about prior instances of violence between the victim and the defendant?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you tell the court a little bit about that?
Yes, at least 4 or 5 of the people that were interviewed stated that they had knowledge about the
Judge,
phones.
I'm going to object as relates to the hearsay nature of it, unless there is basis for those witnesses not being called.
Overruled.
Go ahead.
5 of the people that were interviewed stated that they had knowledge and direct knowledge of the defendant had broken the phones of the victim in 3 to 4 times prior.
At least 3 or 4 times the defendant had broken the victim's phone.
Yes, ma'am.
Was there another incident that occurred with a knife?
Yes, while interviewing Mr. Robbins, he stated that in his house the defendant did the same thing, chased the victim around with a knife until she was disarmed and the knife was thrown on the floor.
And who disarmed her?
Mr. Robbins, I believe.
Did any of those witnesses tell you that the defendant, had pulled out a knife in that case because the victim had either threatened her or done anything to her?
No.
At any point, did any of those witnesses tell you that the defendant, as far as what they could see, right, she was afraid of him in any way?
No.
So were all of those witnesses consistent with their description of those events?
Yes, 3 of the witnesses were consistent with the event with the knife, and they also corroborated the phones being broken by the defendant.
And in all of those incidents that occurred, who was the initial aggressor?
The defendant.
The defendant. Did you have an opportunity to review Miami-Dade public school records?
Yes.
And those are included as in the State's Exhibit 1. Did you review an incident related to the defendant's suspension?
Yes.
Did she at some point tell you during her interview with police the reason for that suspension and sort of the fight that happened?
Yes.
And what did she say?
She said that her and her friends were at the mall, particularly a store called Spencer's. I guess her friends tried to steal some sexual toys, and they got caught at some point. The police got involved. At school, their friends blamed her for getting caught. And then the person that she directly got into the altercation with at school started spreading rumors that they were stealing it for her, that they took the blame for the defendant, and that's what actually caused the fight.
And did you have an opportunity to read the offense incident report of that
Yes.
that fight? And what, if anything, does the defendant say with respect to what happened in that incident?
Judge, for the record, I'm going to object. One, I don't think it's relevant. It's unconnected to this case right presently. And as such, again, even though I know that there is some hearsay that is permissible at a sentencing hearing, this is now relying upon information that someone else said to someone else that he is now relying. And that would be my basis.
All right, Mr. Henkel, I'll note your objection for the record. I'm going to overrule it, but what's the time frame of this suspension?
I believe that it happened in October. I can pull the record.
October 23rd.
October.
Same year.
So 2 months before.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you just describe what she states happened?
Yes, basically she said,
Just
It
for the
was-
record, who's the she?
the defendant.
The defendant.
The defendant said it to the officer. It was time for lunch. I walked out of the door. I threw the first punch and we started fighting.
And have you had an opportunity to review the video of that fight?
Yes.
And for the record, I'm playing what has been entered into as State's Exhibit 1, and it's the record labeled fight at school. Officer, have you had an opportunity to review a text message between the defendant and a prior boyfriend?
Yes.
Okay. Subject to link up, Judge, I would just ask to publish it to the court. What, if anything, is of note in that text
That was
message?
my objection.
Yeah, I'll note your objection. It's subject to link up.
Okay. Can you just walk the court just through the text messages and sort of what is said, and I'll sort of direct you to the first grade bubble.
She's basically saying that, I don't even know how to translate.
You can just read it directly.
I just saying I think you wanna keep your life how it is.
And then
I
the
stab.
next is I stab N-word.
Yes,
Okay. And then the next message that she responds is I want blood.
correct.
Okay. And then she notes that,
Yeah, the person replies, you're not about my life.
yeah, you're not even like that. And then she's then
No,
retorts
no.
at some point, you better ask SMB or fuck around and find out.
Correct.
Okay, bear with me just a quick indulgence, make sure I asked everything. And at some point, Sergeant, the defendant is ultimately arrested in this case.
Yes.
And Judge, I think at this time, the state has no further questions for Sergeant Santos.
Any cross-examination?
Yes. Good afternoon, Detective.
Good afternoon, sir.
I'm going to start from where you left off. You just identified text message for the court. I noticed, I'm aware that you took, and I say you, meaning law enforcement, as part of this case, you had custody of Ms. Malik's cell phone, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And you also had custody of the victim's cell phone.
Yes.
Did you go through those cell phones?
Not me personally, no.
Did you direct, as the lead detective, that since you took possession of those cell phones, did you do any investigations as relates to the contents of those cell phones?
Yes, both cell phones were taken to the Secret Service. The victim's phone was open. The victim's phone's all information was downloaded. However, the defendant's phone was locked. The Secret Service wasn't able to obtain any information from that phone.
All right, so did you request permission for purposes, since you had possession of the phone, to try to get inside that phone?
No, me personally, no, sir.
As the lead detective, did you request anyone to get permission to get the contents of that phone since you had it in your care and custody?
I wasn't the lead detective at the time, no, sir.
Do you know, even as you sit here today testifying, my client's cell phone is in law enforcement care and custody, correct?
Yes.
And you never bothered to try to get the contents of that phone?
We did, sir. The phone is currently sitting at the Secret Service, and it was being tried to broken into last month. I could give you a exact date if you give me a second.
When did this incident happen? When did you take possession? When was the phone taken
I'll tell
into
you
law
right.
enforcement possession?
I'll tell you right now.
Let me see if I can help you.
Yes,
The cell phone of Miss Malik was taken into custody the same day. Isn't that correct?
I'm not sure, sir. I wasn't part of that.
Okay. But this incident happened in 2024, right?
Correct.
We're in 2026.
6.
So as you sit here today, as far as your understanding, no one has gone in to get to retrieve the contents of the cell phone belonging to Miss Malik.
Correct. I got the answer, actually, that could respond to that from the Secret Service if you care to hear.
So again, no one has gone into, have
Correct.
been able to get any information, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now, you did have accessibility as you testified that you went through the cell phone of the deceased, correct?
Not me personally, but
When I
yes.
say you, I'm talking about you representing the police department here, right?
Yes, sir.
The medical examiner's office, you giving testimony from him even though you did not perform the autopsy, correct?
Correct.
And so therefore, as you've been given questions and answering questions by other people, what other people said and done,
Objection, Judge. Argumentative.
no,
Overruled.
I'm asking you the same thing,
Yes, sir.
okay? Now, the text message that you just referred to, did it identify anything as relates to Jahara Malik?
No, that I could see, no.
Did it identify her cell phone?
I'm sorry?
Did it identify her cell phone
Oh.
number that law enforcement still have in custody?
No.
So therefore, you have no personal knowledge of knowing that line of communication that was just presented to the court. You have no idea who the two individuals, both individuals, when they were communicating. You can't attest under oath that you know who those individuals were, correct?
Correct. Not me personally, yes.
Now, your investigation also revealed that Jahara Malik and the deceased had they had a relationship going on, right? And as part of that relationship, they would often, as far as your understanding, horseplay with each other.
Yes.
And in that process of horseplaying, what they engaged in was immature conduct, right? Would you agree?
Yes.
And part of that horseplaying was Jahara would pull out a knife during the horseplay, and they would run around and laugh at each other and chase each other. That was something that they had a pattern of doing.
Objection,
correct?
Judge. Lacks personal knowledge. I don't think that That's exactly what he testified to.
But I'm
If
asking
he
a
knows.
question.
If you know, based on your investigation. Mr. Hanfield, don't argue with Ms. Rodriguez, just address the court. If you have a response to the objection that's raised, I will hear it, but I do not want you speaking to each other.
That was the defendant's statement, sir.
And as far as the defendant's statement, there were other individuals that said the same thing, right?
Correct.
Okay, so when you say that was the defendant's statement, it was not just the defendant that made that statement. Your investigation from others supported that statement, correct?
The presence of the knife, yes, sir.
Yeah, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, on the date in question, you saw the video, and clearly, Ms. Malik, while engaging with the deceased, they were horseplaying, right?
From the staircase, yes, sir.
Yeah, all right. And from what you observed, that what we saw was individuals just acting in a manner that had been previously described.
I don't know.
Well, based upon what you saw,
Yeah, it looked like they were, yes.
looked like they were
running.
horseplaying.
Yes. On the video.
Yes, as indicated by what my client indicated to you, right? And what she indicated to you was supported by what you actually saw in the video, right?
Yes.
Now, clearly on the date in question, there was no evidence whatsoever that established for you that prior to the arrival of my client, their whole purpose of being together that day, number one, the deceased was expecting her, right?
Correct.
And she was made arrangements where they were going to, well, she communicated that she was coming over there, right?
Yes.
And so therefore there was no animosity, there was no anger, there was nothing that would support that when she, based upon the conduct shown by both of them, that there was no ill purpose of her going to that, to see him that day, right?
Correct.
All right. And so it's important, just so we understand, that on the date in question, the video shows and corroborates what my client told you. She went there, not for no ill will, not for no ill intent, and in the midst of this horseplaying, that's how the stabbing took place.
Yes.
Now, obviously, the 911 call also illustrate and demonstrate the hysterical nature that Ms. Malik experienced when she realized that her friend had been stabbed on that day. You heard the 911 call, right?
I did.
And you heard the hysterical, the crying, the trauma in her voice, right?
Yes, she was screaming, yes, sir.
And you learned also as part of the investigation in this case, that not only did she call 911, but the first thing she did was try to save his life by trying to life-saving measures on the deceased.
I don't know that part, sir.
What, you mean you don't know that part?
Right,
Isn't
I'm
it?
gonna ask, I don't wanna remove anyone, but I cannot have these proceedings go on and have commentary from the gallery. I started this proceeding with advising everyone that we need to give this a seriousness, so you need to keep your mouths closed and your thoughts inside your heads. I know this is very emotional for everyone, But I cannot, the record needs to be clear. Mr. Hanfield needs to be able to ask his questions. The sergeant needs to be able to give the answers. And we need to keep a clear record of what's happening here. And we can't do that if there's noise from the gallery. So I'm just giving you, this is my last warning. I don't want to have to excuse anyone from this. So please. All right, Mr. Hanfield, I
Thank you.
apologize for interrupting you.
Thank you. May it please the court. Sir, based upon that's in the investigative report, 3 things was done as relates to right after Jahara Malik realized what had happened. 1, 911 was called. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
2, life-saving measures for purposes of compressing, trying to stop the bleeding. Isn't that correct?
I have no knowledge of that, sir. I haven't read that part.
And
Would
the
you mind if I
third
look
is
for it?
making sure that the mother was notified
The mother
of the
victim?
deceased.
No, sir. She was not.
So,
notified.
as part of your investigation, you're telling this court that you were unaware that there were life-saving measures done by my client, and you were unaware that she wanted to make sure that the mother was also notified. Are you saying that, no, hear what I'm saying, are you saying under oath that as part of whether you did it or someone else made a notation in the investigative report, are you saying that you were unaware of those 2 things, other things that were done by my client?
Yes, sir. I was unaware till now. If you, like I said, I could review it in the report. I was unaware of that. I don't know what part of the report. If you refresh my memory, I'll be glad to see it. And the other one, she did not make contact with the mother. We did.
I just want you to answer the question
I'm answering, sir.
as to what you're saying that you were unaware, right?
Correct.
Okay. Now, how many individuals were working as detectives?
The point, I believe, it was 3 detectives.
And who would be considered the lead detective?
Detective Acuna.
So you were not the lead detective.
No, sir.
And one thing as detective, don't you all have team meetings when you're going through evidence to find out what one person has done, what the other person has done, gathering evidence?
Yes, sir. I wasn't part of that team directly. I work overnight. I was just assisting that team the day off.
So you're saying that your involvement in this case was solely based upon assisting on the day of the stabbing?
Yes, sir.
And so therefore, that's why you have no idea of what the further investigation revealed.
As far as the CPR, yes, I had no idea.
And so if I understand correctly, and then I'll just move on, because otherwise I'm wasting my time, you didn't do any investigation?
I did on the day off.
Only the day of?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And that investigation that you participated in was very limited. Is that correct?
Yeah, it was including interviewing the defendant.
All right. So did you attend the autopsy?
No, sir.
So everything you talked about based upon the medical examiner is based upon something that you had no personal knowledge of?
Yes, I reviewed the medical examiner's case.
Well, I can do that. Anybody can do that. I mean,
Objection, Judge, argumentative.
Yeah. Mr.
Let
Hanfield,
me-
just
let me-
pose the question, Mr. Hanfield. You can make argument later on, but just asking the question.
you know, as a detective, right, that it is the detectives attend the autopsy, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So because you were not the lead detective in this case, you had no reason to attend the autopsy.
Correct.
And so therefore, would it be fair to say, that you called as a witness for the state, you were not the lead detective, right?
Correct.
You did no further investigation other than what happened that day.
Correct.
And then as it relates to the questions and answers that you provided through the state of Florida in reference to this text trail. You have no idea where that came from? Is that correct?
Yes.
And you have no idea who the two individuals that were actually texting?
Objection, Judge Aston answered.
Overruled.
Yes.
Okay. And as a result of that, you cannot tell the court that one of the parties of that text message was Jahara Malik. You have no personal knowledge of that, right?
Correct.
I have nothing else.
Ms. Rodriguez, do you have any redirect?
Just briefly, Judge, a couple things I just wanted to ask. Sergeant, Detective Acuna, is he still in the homicide unit?
No, ma'am.
I just want to go back briefly to the defendant's cell phone. So you stated that the cell phone was impounded, and can you just clarify that there was an attempt made to get into her phone, but the department was unable to?
Yes, ma'am. The person in the Secret Service, the one in charge of unlocking the phones and all that, sent me this is the email of the excuse. It says that the phone was an iPhone 14 Pro Max that belonged to Jahara Malik, that is logged with an unknown password. Further examination of that phone has been canceled, and it has not continued to be supported for brute force by either device tool we have at the lab.
And in your experience as a homicide detective, when they tell you brute force, essentially they cannot get into the phone.
They can decode the password.
They tried, but they couldn't.
They tried for over a year, yes, ma'am.
For over a year?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And in your experience as a homicide detective, you've impounded many phones?
Yes.
And there have been phones that you've done search warrants for to get into those phones of defendants or of witnesses?
Yes.
And is it very common that it takes a long time to get into cell phones?
Yes.
And is it common that, and is it sort of, does it happen, I guess, excuse me, I'll rephrase it, that there are times when you can't even get into cell phones?
Correct.
And sometimes you could get into a cell phone, whether it be a year, sometimes it could take 20 years.
Correct.
Okay.
Judge, I'm going to object to that just based upon the fact he's not an expert. He cannot give no opinion as far as the technology to get into the phone unless the predicate is laid. Him as an expert.
Yeah, we are overruled the objection.
I just want to talk briefly about the horseplay and sort of the questions with relation to the nature of the relationship between the victim and the defendant. You testified on direct that you've obviously reviewed all of the reports. While you weren't the lead, you were present for the defendant's statement.
Correct.
And you've been able to review every single report, including the lead report in this case.
Correct.
Which was Detective Acuna's report.
Yes, ma'am.
Where multiple witnesses were interviewed with respect to at least the nature of the relationship between the two parties.
Correct.
And in each one of those interviews that you took, you said that the statements of those witnesses were consistent.
Yes.
And they were all consistent in that during all the incidents, the defendant was the initial aggressor against the victim.
Correct.
Okay. And on the incident when she pulled out the knife, I think defense counsel asked you about horseplay, whether that was from, you had said the defendant's statement, right? So that was from the defendant's perspective.
Correct.
Okay. And the nature of their entire relationship, right? You weren't there for it. You're not familiar with it. You weren't there for the 8 or 9 months that they were dating every day and day in and day out. Okay. Yes, right?
Yes.
Correct? Okay. And when you took her statement, at any point, did she tell you that, well, I'll strike that question. And the night in which you were present, part of which she was interviewed, and in the body-worn camera that you reviewed, you had stated previously on direct that she changed her statements to police.
Correct.
In the reasons why she pulled out the knife.
Correct.
Okay. And I think defense counsel asked you if the videos were consistent with the defendant's statements about what happened that night. I want to go back to something that we talked about earlier. She told
objection.
Yeah, my objection is that's outside of what I cross-examined. She's now going into areas that I did not cross on.
Overruled. You can proceed.
So she tells you, and that the knife was here while she was holding her phone in her right hand.
Yes.
Right, and it was at this length. And for the record, I'm holding it sort of below my chest and in between kind of my hips. So she at no point told you that it was up here.
No, she didn't put it straight, no.
And again, you reviewed the autopsy, you were present on scene, you were able to see, you watched the interview, present for the interview of her, you're familiar with her height, you're familiar with the victim's height. The victim was taller than her.
Yes.
Okay, and he was stabbed where exactly?
Right above
In his-
the chest,
in his-
center mass, a little bit to the left.
Center mass to the left, okay. So is the stab wound consistent with where she told you she was holding the knife?
No, ma'am.
Objection, Judge, he can't give his opinion.
Overruled.
And when she first tells police that you identified on body one that the knife was down here, is that consistent with the fact that he has a stab wound in his chest?
Not even close, ma'am, no.
And the fact that the knife, and you've reviewed the ME's report, based on, and you have had an opportunity to see the knife yourself, and you know the length of the blade itself, which you said I believe was 4 inches.
4 inches.
Okay, and how deep the knife went into his chest,
3.976.
which is almost the full blade.
Less than an 8 before the end of the blade.
Is that consistent with her version of he merely walked into the knife?
In my opinion, no, ma'am.
And
Judge, only just for the record, I'm going to object about his opinion.
It's noted overruled.
And then with respect to life-saving measures, again, you've reviewed Detective Acuna's report. To your knowledge, is that listed anywhere in Detective Acuna's report?
No, ma'am.
And you know, you're obviously familiar with documenting. I know that not all officers are the same, but presumably he would have documented, right, everything that he felt was relevant and necessary and that he knew.
Yes, ma'am.
Should, if that had come out in the defendant's statement when she met with you, is that something that you recall her saying?
Yeah, I don't recall.
And you reviewed her statement prior to obviously testifying today, which you were present for? Okay. I have no further questions. Thank you, Sergeant.
Is the sergeant excused?
For the state's purposes, he is.
All right, sergeant, thank you. You're
Judge,
excused.
can I have one just...
Sure.
On the issue that I asked you about in reference to my cross appeal about the phone, you indicated, now, did you ever, as far as you or anyone else, try to get the passcode from Jahara Malik?
Not me. I have no knowledge of anybody else. Me personally, I don't think so.
But you were present when the phone was taken, right?
No, sir.
You were not present?
No.
How do you know the phone was taken?
It's on the reports.
Okay, and did anybody ever ask, to your knowledge, permission to get the passcode?
Not that I know. No, sir.
Isn't it, are you aware that she had counsel present and gave the passport?
Overruled.
Are you aware?
No, sir.
That she gave the passcode, gave permission when she gave the phone?
No, sir.
Was a subpoena, now, in order to take a phone, you usually got to get a subpoena, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, but that was not necessary in this case, right?
I'm not sure, sir.
You said you were the one who was dealing with everything that day when you
No,
responded.
sir. I did not say that at all.
Okay, well, you don't know anything about whether or not anybody even asked permission from Jahara Malik to get for a passcode, right?
Correct. Not that I remember now.
She gave her phone willingly, right?
I'm not sure, sir. I wasn't there. They didn't give it to me, so I can't testify to that.
I didn't say whether she gave it to you.
Oh.
You said that the phone was taken the date of the incident. That was in law enforcement possession from that date, right?
I didn't impound anything with that phone. That's what I'm trying to say. I have no knowledge of the phone. I did not impound the phone. I didn't turn it into a Secret Service. That's out of my opinion because I have no knowledge of that phone. I did not take it. I did not impound it.
Okay, you did not take it, you didn't impound it. We hear it, I understand that clearly. But you have no information. In other words, you were trying to give an explanation as to why, even to this day, no one has no knowledge of the contents, but you cannot say whether or not, whether the law enforcement never had the passcode.
Exactly, I can't tell you, because I don't know.
So as far as you're concerned, they could have had the passcode, right?
They could, but I don't know.
But as far as you're concerned, no one was able to get into it, right?
As far as the report that I have from the Secret Service, that's correct.
Okay. But you were able to get into the passcode of the deceased, the victim, right?
Yes.
And in the process of going through that passcode, there was no information for purposes of showing any problems going on between the deceased and Jahara Malik, right?
No, that I could record, no.
Nothing. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Right, Sergeant Santos, you're excused. State.
Judge, I have one